Hi everybody, this is Retro Bear in the Gaming Pantry. And I don't know about you, but today just seems really strange. The usual prattle and inane waffle have been suspended for one video only. Yesterday we were found out, told, whatever, about the sudden passing of a very close, dear personal friend of mine, and somebody who, in our corner of YouTube, people would know who he was. I'm talking about John, aka RetroKit. John passed away yesterday, when it was Wednesday, when this video goes out, I don't know. Very, very suddenly at the age of 38. And has left behind a great void within my life, certainly, other people's lives more importantly. And for those who interacted with John, met John, swapped items with him, traded with him, you know, somebody who now won't be there anymore. I first met John 3 years ago. He contacted me through YouTube, and it was great because finally I found someone who lived reasonably close to me. It's not always been the case. Everybody seems to be living on the other side of the country. You know, you find in these situations that people you get very well live seem to live hundreds of miles away, but John lived literally 3 miles up the road. And after a short while, John, it was just before COVID happened. John, I think he had COVID maybe 3 times all told. He was desperately unlucky to have that, but I think he had it quite bad the first time around, and I didn't hear from him for ages. Then all of a sudden, after a couple of messages to see if he was okay, he did get back in touch with me, and we eventually met up. And that started a sort of 2.5 year thing where we would constantly meet up and go on local gaming hunts, go around the shops locally. John introduced me to a lot of traders. Richard at Old School Gaming, who I think he's related, brother-in-law I think, Nick at Vintage Gamer, Heathy down at Sega Supplies, etc. He seemed to know everybody, and John had an amazing knack for haggling and getting a very good deal. In fact, I think in all honesty, if it'd been left to me to haggle my own deals, I wouldn't have got anywhere near the decent price that John got for me. And I must be very grateful. He was somebody who I spent so much time with over the last couple of years, which is why this news has just practically literally locked me sideways. John was a father, and I cannot imagine how difficult that is going to be for his daughter growing up. He was partner Nicky, who I've got to know as well, has spent so much time driving me and John around the local areas, going to places. So again, I can't imagine what she and her children are going through at the moment. I can only offer my sincere thoughts and condolences to you all. Yeah, it's so difficult to put these things into words and say the right thing. And I've been thinking about this all day. I've thought about nothing else 7, 8 times. I've got this in my head about what I want to say, and I'm going to miss loads of stuff out. I really am. And when we heard the news last night, which was broken to us in one of the WhatsApp groups, the outpouring of condolence and shock and disbelief of what had happened just goes to show how many people John touched during his time on YouTube. Not so much the fact that people got to meet him. In fact, John, I think probably one of his regrets, certainly, when we went out, we went to Doncaster last year to go to Doorway to Darkness. If you want to see that video, that's on here. There's some footage of John in there. Unfortunately, I haven't got any footage I can give, or photos that I've got of John I can put on here. I'm really sorry about that. But that video, if you want this Doorway to Darkness video on my channel, John's in there for a short time, larking about, photobombing the Gebs. So I think he's probably just proud of his achievement. What was I saying? Yeah, I think after going up there and meeting a few YouTubers, Goldtooth Gaming, Sean, Retro Games Revive, David, Retro Games Play Badly, that's a message. I've been getting messages all week from people, or last 24 hours from people. I'll come to that in a second. And he enjoyed that day so much, and he said, you know, I should do more of this. I said, you should do more of this. And he's been to a couple of gaming markets in Birmingham with me. He, again, ironically, this weekend we were due to be going to Old School Gaming grand reopening. He was so looking forward to that. And again, the week after, the Doncaster Gaming Market. And again, the generosity of the man. You know, he said a few weeks ago, I think they're going to Doncaster. Do you want to come? I said, well, yeah, it'd be a good idea if you want to go. He said, great. He says, we'll give you a lift. And he did this to, that's Doncaster last time, and that was, he always was so generous to people. I look around the room now and I can see so many things that I've swapped with John or picked up from John or traded he's just given me. And nice to look at all those things now in the future and think, always think about it. He was a massive Xbox 360 collector. He was a massive fan of the Game Boy. He was a huge 8-bit gamer as well. People don't realise how much he was into his 8-bit. In fact, we were only talking recently about how he said he wanted to play one more game on the Commodore 64, which was an obscure budget game based on a children's television programme. He said, once I'm done with that, I'm done with the C64. I said, really? And he was like, yeah. And he said, mind you, he said it has, this game cartoon was great. He says the cartoon, it was based on the Chaz and Dave theme tune, and that was the last time I spoke to you, which was last Friday. And I sat there at work yesterday thinking, I must let John know about Saturday before the weekend, and of course, it happened, and so many people have said so many good things about him, and like I said, you may not have known John, you may not have met him, but a lot of people have interacted with him on YouTube. He's Retro Kit, I know he changed his name recently. I don't want to bring that name up because I don't think it's appropriate. It's what people know him. People know him as Retro Kit. And, he took his videos down a few months ago because he's one of these people who didn't believe that YouTube was there to promote yourself and try and become famous. He did it because he enjoyed doing this. And I think he got to the point where he was more interested in watching what other people did. So that's why he took his videos down. And he used to join in our Fall Guys Fridays and Fall Guys Saturdays. In fact, his whole Nicky and the kids always used to join in as well. And there's so many things that I did with him as a friend, and somebody who I socialised with as well. It wasn't just the gaming thing. We'd have a drink and a laugh and a joke, and we talk about stuff. And a few times a week I'd speak to him on WhatsApp. It's going to leave a massive void, especially the fact that the local gaming hunts are going to be the things that are going to be really terrible, because right next to my side there's going to be somebody who was there quite a lot, and he ain't going to be there anymore now, and I'm going to miss that, because it's so nice to share, it's so nice to share with so many other people. And I know people come from all parts of the country to this area because of the independent game shops that we have, but John was always on the doorstep, and 9 times out of 10 he was available to come out for something. When we didn't go every week, we went when we were available. Sorry. And it ain't going to be the same. It ain't going to be the same. My phone's been going constantly for the past 24 hours, and again, thank you to everybody who got in contact to see if I'm doing all right. I'm a bloody mess, I've got to be honest with you, when I start talking and thinking about it. I really am. I've held it in pretty well until now, but I've just been on the verge all day. I really have been. But I can't imagine what other people who knew John so much better. I mentioned Nicky and the children. Obviously, there's his good friend Mike, who's got a channel called Mal High Club. I spoke to Mike earlier on text message. Mike's known John for years, and I can't imagine how devastating this is for him. And hopefully, me and Mike will get together in the very near future and have a chat about this. I wanted to say that I wanted to do this video to try and show not just my absolute devastation at this news, but also speak on behalf of loads of people who contacted me who probably feel the same, and they're probably not quite sure what to do in terms of showing their appreciation to John. And I really want this to be a start of this. If people have struggled to do with that, if you want to put your memories about John and comments about John in the comments below as a way of showing your appreciation and respect for him, I think that would be a good way to do. I think because most people associate me with John, it's right for me to do this video and let people put their comments in there. I got in contact with Nicky this morning. Well, Nicky got in contact with us very, very late last night via Mrs. Bear's Instagram, I think it was. She was trying to get hold of me, and I hadn't got a number and she hadn't got mine. And I spoke to this morning, and it was an idea that one of us had come up with in the TMB. And we've decided that the next podcast, which is the 5th of February, I've already mentioned this in one of the groups, but the 5th of February podcast, which we were going to do a regular programme, we're not going to do a regular programme. I know it's the same day as the Doncaster video game market, which is going to be difficult for a lot of people to probably make and come in. But we're going to dedicate that podcast to John, and we're going to celebrate his life and his time, his memories. We're going to talk about, you know, things he was interested in, things that we've come across, and interests that we shared, and really want people to come along and join in the chat and post your comments and stories, and again, you know, show your appreciation for John's life, and how he may have interacted with you, what he may have done, you know, things you may have bought off him, swapped with him, whatever. You know, he had so many different things and so many interests. So 5th of February on this channel, 8 o'clock, we're dedicating the podcast to John, and Nikki's very kindly messaged me back and saying it's a really thoughtful idea to do, and she's happy for us to do that. And you do worry sometimes about these things being too close to, and too painful for people, and that really is it. I can't say anymore. I'm just going to miss him so much. I really am. I really am. I can't say much more than rest in peace, my friend. Godspeed. We'll see you again one day soon. Thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.